guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've been here before, if you haven't, and this is your first time watching one of our videos, then it's really great to have you here. First things first, I just want to apologize for my croaky voice. I'm just getting over the end of a pretty bad cold. So, you know, there's been colds and flus and bugs and all sorts going around recently, it being that time of year, and I fell victim to one of them, but never mind, happens to everybody. But yeah, just why my voice sounds a little bit raspy at the moment. But I'm doing this video for somebody who is a follower on my Instagram channel, Instagram account, and they were asking specifically about this book that they saw on one of my posts, and so I said I'll do a flip through for them. So just in case this would be helpful to anyone else as well, I just wanted to put this on here as well. So this is a book on punctuation. It's actually part of a series called Getting to Grips with Grammar, and this particular book is on punctuation, and the publisher is called Raintree, and my copy is an ex-library book, which is why it's got that little sticky tab on the side. But if we flip open this, we can see that the author is a lady called Anita Ganeri. So if we jump to the contents, it breaks down everything that's in here, but one thing that stands out, and maybe more so if I flick through it like this, is you'll notice that the text is really, the font's really chunky and easy to read and spaced out really nicely, and that's because it's aimed at quite young children, so key stage 1 level, so around age 5 to 7 roughly. So that means that everything that's broken down in this book is very simply explained. It's not going to be very complex. It's going to be very to the point, easy examples, simple demonstrations of what they're describing, which they use these big bubbles for. So whenever you see these big bubbles, this is where it's demonstrating what it's talking about, and it's that simple, really clearly laid out, really bold. When they are given exercises like this is one, spot the punctuation marks. The punctuation marks are coloured, so it's easier for a young child to spot, because they're at the stage where they're just learning about these punctuation marks and things. So it's going to look at what grammar is, what punctuation is, the different punctuation marks. That's the exercise I just showed you, spot the punctuation marks. Then it's going to cover capital letters, full stops, question marks, exclamation marks, commas, speech marks, and apostrophes. Okay, so if we jump to the first page, again, even with its definition of what grammar is, it's keeping it really clear and concise and in simple terms for a young reader. And the examples that it's given, that it uses, are really simple. Like, my children have additional needs, and so their physical age and their executive function age are two different things. So this is something that I use for my youngest, and just to refresh, because I tend to review and go over concepts that they've learned already every now and then, because they have trouble with retention, and so retaining things that they've already learned. And he could spot really quickly that this sentence makes no sense because and he was able to explain a bit as to why. He says, well, the full stop should be at the end, and this, you know, this capital letter is in the middle of the sentence. So it just helps to give a really clear and simple example of what it looks like when we don't use grammar correctly and why grammar is important. And then it will give an example of what it should look like and why now when you read it, it makes a lot more sense. Okay, so it turns the jumbled up words into a sentence. And that's pretty much how it is throughout. So everywhere that it's explaining something or introducing a new concept, it does that in a really easy, simple way that is quick and easy to grasp. It's not a very thick book. It's just this. And so it's just the right amount of information. It's not information overload. Remember, it is aimed at younger children, but it's just right for who it's aimed at. And so I would say that this is a very good book to use if you've got a child around that kind of age bracket, or perhaps if you have a child who struggles with grammar, and maybe that some of the books and the resources you've used so far, it's just not clicking. It might be a little bit too wordy. It might be that it's the examples given are a bit too complex and there's too much information on the page. It might be worth using something like this that just breaks it down in far simpler terms and is easier to grasp, just to help them to master these basics when it comes to grammar. So I'm just going to do a quick flip through of it. You can see, and yeah, it is that simple. This book is, like I said, it's not very long, but it's very effective, and I like to use this book. It's one of the reasons why I still have it and still use it. And it does give a glossary at the end just to help you get to have a definition. And it also, I find using books like this helpful as a parent, because although we've learned these things and we understand what a capital letter does and why it is where it is and what an exclamation mark is, and sometimes when it comes to explaining that to somebody else, especially finding the words to explain it to a child, a younger child, that can be a little bit trickier. We think, okay, how am I going to find the right words to explain this in a way that they'll understand? And so again, it's another reason why I really love this book, and I love the fact that it does have the glossary at the back, where it just summarizes everything that they've learned in really simple terms. And so that is this book. It's a really quick flip through. It's a really short book. So just to summarize, it's called Punctuation. It's part of a series, Getting to Grips with Grammar, and it's by Raintree. And you can probably find this on Amazon or eBay or anywhere. If you Google it and look it up, you'll be able to find it. But it does also have, on the inside here, information as to where you can order it directly from the publisher as well. So I hope you found that really helpful. And if you do have any questions or comments, do drop them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.